Epcot is arguably the world's most unique theme park. Located at the Walt Disney World Resort, this park features a series of pavilions with rides, shops, and food. This park has undergone a major overhaul in the past few years, and it's finally been completed. In this review, I will cover everything you need to know about Epcot. In the 1960s, Walt Disney developed a concept for a utopian city called the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, or Epcot. This would have an urban city center and residential area seamlessly connected by a series of fast and efficient mass transportation systems. After Walt's death in 1966, the Disney Company did not want to build a fully functional city. Instead, they focused their efforts on Walt Disney World. This new Florida resort would open in 1971 with just one park in Magic Kingdom. Because of the overwhelming success of that park, Disney immediately began starting to develop a second theme park for the resort. Two concepts were pitched. One was a futuristic city taking inspiration from Epcot. The other was a World's Fair International theme. Disney decided to combine the two into a single park named Epcot Center. The park would open in 1982. Originally, the park had just two areas. Future World was in the front half of the park. This area was about technological innovation. World Showcase would be in the back half of the park. This would form a loop around a lagoon with different pavilions for countries around the globe. The park was popular from day one, but it underwent a major overhaul in the mid-1990s. First, the park's name was shortened to just Epcot. Second, and more importantly, the park started to phase out some older edutainment-based rides in favor of more traditional thrill rides. While Epcot was always popular with adults, it was not always the most engaging park for young kids. This was remedied over the past 2 decades by adding IPs. This was done strategically in my opinion, as they were placed in pavilions where the characters made sense. For example, Finding Nemo was added to the Seas Pavilion. Frozen was added to the Norway area because Arendelle was inspired by that country, and Ratatouille was added to France. I like the park's current focus, but I know some longtime visitors to the park missed the old theme because it was way different than anything else you could find at a Disney park. Epcot just recently finished another update. This officially changed Future World into 3 separate areas: World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery, but the lands more or less feel similar to how they've been over the past decade. The biggest change is that all the walkways are once again available. If you visited Epcot over the past few years, you probably got used to the endless series of construction walls. These blocked off the center of Future World, meaning you'd have to make a loop to get from ride to ride. I am pleased to say those walls are finally down. Some cool lights were added to the midway, but most importantly, it is easier to navigate the front half of the park. Overall, I like the look of the park. The pavilions in the front half of the park have wacky and futuristic architectures. I especially love the look of Mission Space with the giant planets. The land looks cool with the greenhouse structure. Imagination looks sweet with the glistening glass pyramids. And you of course have the famous geodesic dome for Spaceship Earth. This ball is so iconic. And at night, it is now illuminated by thousands of twinkling LED lights. It's a spectacle to see. 2 minor critiques with how this park looks though. 1, I think Test Track's pavilion is a bit of an eyesore when viewed from a distance, but the immediate area looks solid at least. 2, this park does not have much shade in the midway. While most attractions are thankfully indoors, you will bake in the hot sun going in between pavilions. Now the back half of this park feels much different than the front half. In fact, I would argue that World Showcase doesn't even feel like a theme park, and I mean that as a compliment. You can aimlessly stroll from country to country soaking in different atmospheres. You can sample different cuisine, explore shops, and enjoy the occasional attraction. There are 11 different countries to explore, and each one feels distinctly different. Going clockwise, Mexico is housed in a giant temple. The inside is dark and atmospherically lit. This is an awesome place to duck out from the sun. Norway has been taken over by Frozen, but you still have some classic buildings, and I love the backdrop of the stony fortress, the rockwork, and a waterfall. China has a beautiful and colorful temple with some nice gardens around it. Germany captures the feel of a Bavarian village, and it's especially energetic if the street performers are out. Italy has a large tower, then it opens up to a plaza with some ornate fountains and restaurants. The American adventure is dominated by colonial buildings showcasing US history. Japan has a large pagoda up front and a fortress in back. Then it opens up to different pools and gardens. Morocco is designed to look like a small city, and I especially like the attention to detail to blend the backside of Tower of Terror into the pavilion's skyline. France is simply beautiful with the Eiffel Tower in the backdrop. Then you have some quaint alleyways with different shops and restaurants. United Kingdom has some tight streets filled with shops. Canada has a frontier theme with some old wooden buildings. Then it leads into some nice gardens with a rocky backdrop. And the employees are awesome. They have the usual Disney friendliness, but the park staffs each country with people native to that respective country. Now, World Showcase is huge. The entire loop around the lagoon is 1.2 miles in length. This is a main reason why Epcot feels like the largest park at Walt Disney World. Animal Kingdom is technically larger by land, as it covers 580 acres. But keep in mind, a large chunk of that land is dedicated to the safari that you don't actually walk through. Epcot is 300 acres in size, and you are able to walk through much of that. Two very important things about this park setup that can save you a lot of time and energy. One, you can utilize the friendship boats in the World Showcase Lagoon. These shuttle you between Mexico and Germany, and also Canada and Morocco. These save you a half-mile walk between these pavilions. 2. Epcot actually has two separate entrances. You have the main entrance at the front of the park, then you have a back entrance at International Gateway. Which entrance you use depends upon how you're arriving at the park. If you arrive by car, you will park in the massive parking lot near the front entrance. This costs $30 per vehicle, but it does carry over park to park if you're park hopping. If you're utilizing the resort's on-site transportation, things get a lot more complicated, but it leaves you with a ton of options depending upon your needs. If you are coming to or from Magic Kingdom, or the hotels around the Seven Seas Lagoon, you have two options. One, you can take the monorail. This will drop you off at Epcot's front entrance. 2, you can take a bus from Magic Kingdom to the Beach Club Resort. This hotel is just a 5-minute walk from the back entrance of Epcot. If you are coming to or from Animal Kingdom, you have two buses to pick from. You can either take the Epcot bus to the front entrance, or you can take that aforementioned Beach Club Resort bus if you want to utilize the back entrance. If you are coming to or from Disney's Hollywood Studios, you have a lot of options at your fingertips. If you want to use the front entrance, take the bus directly to the park. If you want to use the back entrance, you have 3 choices. 1, you can walk between the two parks. It's a roughly 1-mile walk past the resorts. 2, you can use the friendship boats. This is roughly a 20-minute journey through the Epcot resort area, making stops at a few hotels on the way. 3, you can use the Skyliner. This gondola also takes roughly 20 minutes because you have a connection midway through. If you're staying on site at a hotel in the Epcot resort area, you can either walk or use the friendship boats to the back entrance. If you're staying at a hotel with the Skyliner, you only have the Skyliner available unless it's down for maintenance or weather. Then the remaining hotels have buses to the front of the park. Keep all of this in mind when I start talking about my touring plan, but I first want to talk about the crowds and queue lines here. Epcot is routinely one of the 5 most visited theme parks in North America, attracting 10 to 12 million guests annually. Magic Kingdom has been and always will be the resort's most popular park, but Epcot is usually neck and neck with Hollywood Studios for the second spot. Needless to say, you will likely encounter heavy crowds here. There are 3 rides that draw extremely long waits open to close. These rides are Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Frozen Ever After, and Test Track. I will refer to them as the Big 3 for the rest of this review. The Big 3 typically have 60 to 90 minute waits minimum. One important note about Test Track is that it does have a very helpful single rider line. Because the ride is 3 across seating, Single riders are frequently needed. It is usually just a 10 to 15 minute wait maximum most days with single rider. Ratatouille has signage for a single rider line, but they have not yet opened it. I imagine they will in the future, which will offer an expedited way to board. Single rider saves a boatload of time on the same ride at Walt Disney Studios in Paris. Most of the other rides have high capacities and shouldn't be more than a 15 to 20 minute wait for much of the day. There are 3 exceptions. 1. Because Spaceship Earth is at the very front of the park, it gets absolutely mobbed at park open. I strongly recommend waiting until the afternoon. The line almost always dies down as people make their way further into the park. 2. Soarin' can get a lengthy queue approaching an hour midday, but you can usually get on this one quickly if you prioritize it early or late in the day. 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind uses a virtual queue as of this recording. This means you cannot just hop in line. I imagine this will be discontinued in the future. When this happens, I suspect that Guardians will have the park's longest wait. I have an entire review talking about this system in depth, but in short, you need to book a boarding group on the Walt Disney World app. There are 3 times a day when the boarding groups are released: 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. The 7 and 1 o'clock releases are available to all day guests. To be eligible for the 7 a.m. drop, you must have a valid Epcot reservation. Then you use the My Disney Experience app to secure your spot in the virtual queue. This is before Epcot opens, so it can be done from anywhere. It can be done at your hotel room or even in another state. It just matters that you reserved Epcot for the day. And you need to be fast. These only last a few seconds. The benefit with an early boarding group is that you usually have minimal to no wait when you're called. I've had to wait an hour with some later return times. The 1 p.m. drop requires you to be physically inside of Epcot. This is why you'll see a bunch of people staring at their phones like zombies around this time. The 6 p.m. drop is a special one. This is for resort guests eligible for the extended evening hours. You are allowed to get an additional return time for this event, even if you already got one earlier in the day. Now, the caveat that I have to add is that Walt Disney World is dropping the park reservation system after January 9th, 2024. I imagine this will have an impact on the eligibility requirements for the virtual queue, but these have not been shared. Once your boarding group is called, you officially have an hour to return. But from what I've seen, the employees will let you enter any point after your boarding group is called. The only other way to ride Guardians right now is to buy an individual lightning lane. This costs $14 to $17 per day. You book a 1-hour window in the Walt Disney World app, and when it's your turn to ride, you will skip much of the queue, and you shouldn't have to wait more than 10 to 15 minutes for that first pre-show. Each guest can only purchase one individual lightning lane per day for Guardians, and each guest can only get 2 individual lightning lanes per day across the entire resort. While on the topic of lightning lane, the best way to tour Epcot with minimal waits is to use Genie Plus. This is a paid skip-the-line service, and it replaced the legacy-free FastPass system. For Epcot, it typically costs $15 to $30 per person per day, and I would recommend it if you visit infrequently. It maximizes your visit. Then it's a small upcharge if you want to add a park-hopping genie. You can book your first lightning lane right at 7 a.m. You can then book subsequent ones after you first use your recently booked lightning lane, or 2 hours pass, whichever comes first. Lightning lanes for the big 3 deplete very quickly. They are usually gone by late morning, so you want to prioritize these. Usually, you can get 2 of these per day, but the third one can be tricky. If you're comfortable using the single rider line and test track, I would prioritize Ratatouille and Frozen in that order. 3 other touring notes. 1. Most rides at Epcot are indoors. The one exception is Test Track. That ride will close if lightning is in the area, which is a seemingly daily occurrence in the afternoon in summer. It also cannot run in the rain, so if inclement weather is in the forecast, you may need to let Mother Nature dictate when you ride it. 2. You can hop in line for one of the big 3 right before park close with a minimal wait. Disney keeps lines right open until closing. They do tend to significantly overestimate the wait times at the end of the night to deter people from entering queues, but it should move rapidly between the less people being in line and the lack of lightning lane. The latter takes up roughly 60 to 70% of the ride's capacity. The one con with this approach is that you will miss part, if not all, of the nighttime spectacular. 3. If you're staying on site, you get early entry. This allows you to enter the park a half hour early. If you arrive at least a half hour before early entry starts, you should be able to walk onto one of the park's big three. Which ride you start with depends upon which entrance you're at. If you enter from the back entrance, I recommend starting with Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I would then try to go to Frozen Ever After before early entry ends. If you enter from the front, I would start with Test Track if you don't want to use single rider. Otherwise, I would go to Frozen Ever After first. Just walk briskly because this ride is equidistant from the front and back entrances. Don't try to get to Ratatouille. There will already be a very long wait by the time you get back there. In the future, when Guardians is no longer on the virtual queue system, I imagine this will be the #1 priority in the morning, and those in the front entrance have a major advantage. If you're arriving early without early entry, know the big three probably will already have decently long lines. In that case, I would maybe knock out Soarin' first because it will develop a line later. Then rely on Genie for the big three, plus Test Track single rider line. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the ride lineup. Epcot took 4 decades to get their first roller coaster, but they got a fantastic one in Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It is the best coaster at the Walt Disney World Resort. The layout itself is wonderful. It is the world's longest indoor coaster and has such a dynamic layout. You have launches, some solid airtime pops, and some forceful turns, and the vehicles are also able to spin throughout the experience. It is a controlled rotation, but it's done strategically to enhance an element or point you towards some theming. Speaking of which, much of the ride takes place in a dark room with a similar vibe to Space Mountain, but you also have some classic tunes in typical Guardians fashion, plus these gigantic video screens to progress the story. And that story is well presented during the pre-boarding experience through a series of pre-shows. See my review for more, but this coaster is a masterpiece. There are only 2 other thrill rides at this park. One is Test Track. This is a unique attraction that starts off indoors for a series of tests that automobiles are subjected to. The ride originally had an industrial feel to it, but as I covered in a separate review, it was updated to have a highly stylized futuristic vibe reminiscent of Tron. The braking sequence has some fun accelerations reminiscent of a coaster launch. Then the handling sections have some abrupt turns. But the highlight has to be the finale. You blast outdoors for a high-speed segment. You reach speeds of 65 miles per hour or 104 kilometers per hour, which is quite exhilarating. The other thrill ride is Mission Space. As I've said in a separate review, the orange side is probably the most nauseating ride at the resort. You ride in a motion simulator strapped to a centrifuge, so you are subjected to some powerful positive Gs as it spins about. I particularly love the intense launch sequence. If that sounds like it's too much for you, they offer a green side that eliminates the spinning. And that side is a different mission too, going to Earth instead of Mars. You have some buttons and levers. They don't do anything, but they do let you get into the experience. My one gripe with the ride is that the screens are not the best quality, which is another contributor to the nausea. Another simulator ride is Soarin'. This is a flying theater specifically. It is a beautiful attraction. You have enchanting music and crisp visuals as you pass different landmarks from around the world. Try to ride in the top center if possible for the best experience. You will not have the distortion effect from the curved screen, nor will you have feet in front of you. Now let's move into the trio of World Showcase dark rides based on animated films. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is an action-packed trackless dark ride. You are designed to feel like a rat as you stare at these ginormous screens. I wish there were more physical props, you just have some during the transitions, but the visuals are clear, and the motion is perfectly synchronized to the chaos unfolding on screen. Frozen Ever After is a boat ride chock full of impressive animatronics. Seeing Olaf, Anna, and Elsa singing and moving about is a delight to see. You have all the popular music from the film. Then the layout throws in some moderate thrills as you have backward segment plus 2 drops, both of which are very theatric. Grand Fiesta Tour is a boat ride in Mexico, but it does feel fairly tacky. You have screens of Mexican landmarks with cartoon versions of Donald Duck running throughout them, but it is nice finally seeing the duck get his own ride, and the animatronics at the end look great. Another ride that was given IP treatment was the Seas with Nemo and Friends. This one feels like a meet and greet with the film's characters, but I do like the finale when the fish are overlaid in the aquarium. Speaking of which, the Sea Base Aquarium that you exit into is better than the dark ride. It's a multi-level exhibit with all different types of fish. Another ride that's been modified extensively over the years is Journey into Imagination. The ride was originally based around the Dreamfinder and his beloved dragon named Figment, but the park inexplicably removed both characters for the ill-fated Journey into Your Imagination version. Thankfully, the ride was again modified, this time to be Figment-centric. I like the character, so I certainly don't mind all the scenes with him. It's admittedly a bit childish at points, but I like the wacky joy of the ride, and that finale scene is very well done. Spaceship Earth is another dark ride that was updated. The uphill portion gives an overview of the history of communication. The scenes are slow, but detailed. Then the build-up and reveal of Earth at the top is a wow moment. The return back down adds some laughs with an interactive cartoon showing you a goofy version of your future. The final dark ride is Living with the Land. This is another one that's a bit dry, but it's a must if you have a green thumb. You pass through some greenhouses with different types of plants, fruits, and vegetables. Now, what else does this park have to offer? Flat rides? Nope, you will not find any of those here. There are shows though. The big kahuna here is the Nighttime Spectacular. The park just recently debuted Luminous. This occurs in the World Showcase Laguna Park Close. I have not seen this show, but I've heard it's enjoyable. It sounds like it combines elements of the past 2 shows and harmonious in illuminations. You have some impressive fireworks and enjoyable music. During the daytime, you have a few others that I'll highlight. There's a 3D theater attached to the Imagination Pavilion. Then World Showcase has some films about different cultures. They're not too engaging, they're more educational. And kids have Turtle Talk with Crush, which is an interactive Q&A. Kids will also find a series of playgrounds at the exits for some of the rides in World Discovery. Mission Space is a full-on play structure to climb in. Then Test Track, Spaceship Earth, and Imagination have large areas with different games. Then everyone can appreciate Moana Journey of Water. This is a new walkthrough past all these water effects. You uniquely control them with hand gestures, sort of making you feel like a superhero. And this area looks particularly cool at night when it's lit up. Another important part about visiting a Disney park is the character interactions. You have a series of meet and greets scattered about the park. Use the app to determine the location and times for each character. I particularly like the ones in World Showcase that have unique outfits for the country they're located in. Then if you want to shop, you have plenty of gift shops available. The Connections gift shop towards the front sells Epcot and typical Disney merchandise. But the World Showcase area features more unique merchandise, most notably a $75,000 crystal-encrusted Spaceship Earth. Now let's move on to the food. This is a key part of the Epcot experience. The full-service sit-down restaurants are reservation only. It can be tricky to get reservations for some of them. If you're staying on site, you can book these 60 days in advance. If you're not on site, keep checking in advance of your visit and more dates and times should pop up as people cancel. There are 3 sit-down restaurants I want to highlight. My favorite here is Via Napoli. This is a pizza place with authentic Italian pizza, and it is some of the best pizza in the world. All the ingredients are fresh, and it's delectable. Le Cellier Steakhouse is a popular steak place. It is such a treat to get food like this within a theme park. It's pricey, but the quality is quite good. Garden Grill is a unique restaurant in the land. You sit in a rotating platform overlooking Living with the Land. It is all-you-can-eat family style, getting different meats, fish, and veggies. Then you also have meet and greets with Farmer Mickey plus Chip and Dale. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are plenty of quick service options in World Showcase that are tasty. You can also find Club Cool. This is a Coca-Cola shop that allows you to sample different Coke products from around the world. And the best part of all, it is free. Yes, they give you sample cups, but you really cannot complain because it's free. And you have to try Beverly. It is legendarily bad. It is also nice to visit during the Food and Wine Festival. You have different stands in World Showcase with snacks, tapas, and drinks from different countries. I particularly love the filet mignon in Canada because it gives you a taste of Le Cellier without having to pay full price. One other thing I know that is highly popular is drinking around the world. Basically, people walk around World Showcase going country to country having a drink at each pavilion. That's not my thing. It costs well over $100 to complete, and I definitely cannot drink that much alcohol. I also want to be able to remember my visit. While on the topic of price, Epcot is an extremely expensive park to visit. That's the case with all 4 theme parks at Disney World. Tickets for just Epcot start at $109 on the quietest of days, but it can cost upwards of $159 during peak periods. Then you can also purchase park hopper tickets and multi-day tickets as well. In short, both become better deals as you add more days. How much time will you need at Epcot? I think that depends on your interests. The park is very long hours. If you are solely focused on the rides, you can do everything in a day. But if you also want to take in the atmosphere and explore every pavilion, I think you'll need at least 1.5 to 2 days to see everything. So, do I recommend Epcot? I sure do. This is such a special theme park. No other park is quite like it. It starts with the impressive themed attractions. Guardians is a world-class roller coaster. Then there are tons of dark rides, some of which are special like Test Track and Frozen Ever After. Then this is a park that you could just walk around for hours without riding anything and still have a blast. The pavilions look amazing, and there's some phenomenal shopping and dining options here as well. So those are my thoughts on Epcot, the incredible theme park at Walt Disney World. What are your thoughts about this park? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.